welcome to Mole Confidential Season 6, Episode 4.
All right, we're back. Another episode, another eliminated player. Let's talk about your questions and comments that I've either seen in the videos or sometimes I get messages on Discord, on Steam, you name it. Here we go. First question. Some people were like, why is Stig in the quiz? And that's meaning the video at the end when it shows the player's quiz. And that's my fault. He wasn't actually in the quiz the players took, but I convert those quizzes over to kind of a script that simulates it being typed on the computer. And I removed Angel thinking, oh, he got eliminated, so let me remove him. Then I'm like, well, hold it. He should be in the quiz because he was actually in the actual quiz of the players because that's the quiz he was the lowest score on. And then for some reason in my head, I typed Stig's name instead of Flying Angel. So there was a delay between me deleting Angel and then putting Stig back. But it was a complete mistake on me. That was one of those deals where, like always, Friday night, I'm still editing, and it's like 4, 5, 6 in the morning when I get the thing uploaded. So my mistake. I always seem to make at least one each episode. So there was your mistake. I corrected it with an annotation in the video for people later, just to note that that was a mistake. All right, next, Kama has a question.
Someone asked, do the italicized names in the player list indicate players in spectator mode? Yes, basically. There were some helpers for certain challenges, so people couldn't cheat, for example, or abide by the rules, and that's what we need spectator mode for. And Boss can't see spectator mode people, so he didn't see us flying around at all.
Yeah, it should be noted too, they're not players in the game. They're players in Minecraft. So all the helpers went into spectate mode so they couldn't be seen, which means I won't see them because I don't go into spectate mode and I don't want the spectators flying around to be an issue. You can kind of see that a little bit in the Fly Like an Eagle challenge because of something we're going to talk about next, which that question was, somebody asked, did all the players record their footage when flying? And they are referring to that challenge, Fly Like an Eagle. The answer to that is no. I spectated them with a Mrs. Ba's account on my laptop and recorded that. So you're seeing their, in a sense, footage, but with my laptop recording it. But I wanted to make sure I got a 1080p 60 FPS recording. And if I had players do that, it would be a mess to try to get all those video files and stuff. So I'm in spectate mode on my laptop with a different account. And that's why, as I was just talking about in relation to Kama's question, you can see some of the spectators flying around because I was spectating the player. And because I'm in spectate mode on that laptop, I can see the other spectators. So you see some of those floating heads, but that's the helpers. And they're there to keep things in order. But that's how we did the high quality 1080p 60 FPS recordings of the players flying. They did not record. All right, Kama's got the next question.
There was something else we could do though, and that's pretty much the next questions. The next question: where do the screenshots come from at the end of the video? They come from all the helpers. We tried to make as many screenshots as possible for each challenge, and some of them come from Mrs. Boz as well, or Boz himself.
All right, the next question. Somebody asked, does the plugin actually analyze the quiz? That would be awesome if it did. I think I joked about it doing that once, like trying to figure out how to do that, but it's too much work. No, it does not. I say that to the players just kind of and for you guys, the viewers, just for the experience. But the actual plugin is only there to have me tell it, this is the person who's going to be eliminated. Kama, myself, and the helpers evaluate the quizzes manually to figure out who's the one with the highest score, the lowest score, all that good stuff. And then I just tell my plugin, okay, blank will be eliminated. And then when that person does step on the mat, it goes ahead and eliminates them. But it does not actually analyze the quiz. Could be done, but it's not worth the trouble. Plus, it's kind of fun, I think, for the helpers and I when we go through them, because we don't know who's going to go. And we just sit there watching the quizzes come in. And then we're like, okay. And then we'll tally it up and we're like, wow, blank's going to go. And we're just, we all sit there for a second kind of thinking, wow, we didn't expect that.
but it's always easier towards the end because every time someone is eliminated, so there's one less quiz to take for the people.
Yeah. So the last question before we start looking at the challenges: why do I hold carpet? You can see I'm holding it now. Now, there might be a better object to hold, but the reason I do it is because, like, when you're holding some items, it takes up a lot of screen real estate. But that whole, like, when I hold a compass, that whole, like, right bottom quarter of the screen is just eaten up. So certain things take up less space. Carpet doesn't take up much at all. So I like to hold something where it doesn't really block a lot of the screen. And somebody commented, I think, why don't I just hit F1? Well, I can do that. But, like, here's the reason I don't do it. When we have all the players here, especially in the early games, when I hit F1, you don't see their names anymore. And a lot of people don't know who is who. So it's kind of a catch-22. I could do an F1, which I used to do a ton when it was just a crew because pretty much everybody knew who the crew were. But when it's the mole, I like for people to be able to see the name tags of the players because they get confused. That's why I've added, like, the heads to, like, when I show their view or when they do their quiz. I want you to be able to see who they are. So maybe there's a better object to use now with, like, all the recent updates that takes up less real estate down there. I guess I could maybe do, like, a custom resource pack or something to kind of take a really unused item and, like, make it basically empty. But for now, I use carpet. If you have better suggestions, please let me know. All right, so here we are. Challenge number 7. Can they answer it? And according to Matt, no, they can't. So we'll have to get into the reunion episode and have questions about this challenge. But, Kama, who built this one? Give us some feedback here.
Danny actually built this one after I pretty much found this space, and I thought, why not build like a holiday home here with a question in it? I mean, the question was provided by you, obviously.
Yeah, what was funny is they were working on this and they didn't have anything. And the thing I didn't want to do is, like, if you, like, go to and Google riddles or puzzles and stuff, word puzzles, people are either going to know them or they could Google them themselves. So I wanted something that was Minecrafty, and literally I sat there for about 10 minutes and this just kind of popped in my head. And I thought it was actually pretty decent because it wasn't that hard, but it wasn't, like, super easy. And it just kind of worked. I mean, you know, the glass blocks ID not being in the teens anymore. You know, if you look at my ID, you can see through me, glass, blah, blah, blah. I thought it was actually decent. That was my proudest Riddle moment, I think, in Mole.
It was pretty good, yeah.
Hopefully people liked it, but a little bit of or kind of behind the scenes on this one, stuff we usually talk about in Reunion. When we first had this challenge, you know, there was the bedrock around it. And when I cut the bedrock away for the first player, it got rid of the signs. And I was just like, oops. So you can kind of see in the video where it's kind of, there's a kind of a harder cut. So what I had to do is I had to ask the smart person to step back out so that I could redo it. Luckily, I wrote this down on a piece of note paper when I was first trying to think of it. So it was really easy to put it back. But that was kind of a mess. And then I got the copy paste stuff set right. I'm not sure if it was a weird issue with just, you know, the copy point having these blocks here are considered like on that column. So I thought I only replaced bedrock, but I must have done a cut. So I don't know. It didn't work right, but I fixed it. But it's a cute challenge. Don't believe there's any signs from the mole here on this challenge. I don't see anything.
Me neither.
But I like it. You know, it kind of reminds me of last season where we had the little quaint little house where we had the mystery of the butt rocks being stole. So I think that kind of this one was a little bit more quaint, but I liked the idea of it. I love kind of these puzzles where, you know, you have a riddle or or some type of thing they have to solve, and then you also then let a player decide how they think the others are going to do. So I think it adds a big difference to the game when everything can always be about how well you can do stuff in Minecraft. This one, they had to use their brains. All right, challenge number 8, fly like an eagle. This was a big one. I really wanted a challenge this season that used the wings, the elytras or whatever they're called. So I think originally, I'm not sure. I think we were kind of thinking originally like rings and stuff, and then I think you guys kind of went with it and had these different like signs, like the kappa and some of the different people.
Yeah, at first it was pretty much just me thinking about how could we put the elytra into good use. So we found a mountain, and originally I was going to build a city they have to fly through, but I thought that might have been too much for them because they didn't know where to go and everything. So we just stuck with walls, and I believe Retro and Danny built the faces and the kappa on it.
For people who don't know, kappa is a kind of a Twitch TV thing. It's one of their like kind of trolly, emoty things. It's very popular. So I mean, we can kind of look. We'll look at the bird here in a second, and we definitely have some stuff about that bird to talk about in the reunion episode. But here's the
Yes.
kappa, and here is Kama. And who's this next one here?
That's an anime character, Retro build.
Anime, of course. Retro and her anime. There's Mr. Danny. Is this supposed to be? Is that Retro skin now?
Yes.
Or okay, yeah, Retro.
That's Retro.
If she was anime, what she would look like, we don't know. So we have lots of different memeish things here throughout, and then this is the needle that I don't know if anyone could really thread it. That'd be the ultimate move. Did anyone do it in testing?
Yes, Danny did.
So it definitely was possible. We tweaked this a little bit. I can remember originally it's like kind of the scoring system was a little bit more, I think, difficult. And I kind of said, well, why don't we just make it to where if they go through, say, Kappa, they get 10. So no matter where they land, I think you guys had them have to land on mats. And if they didn't land on the mat, it wouldn't count.
Yeah, there were targets behind the walls, and they had to land on it.
I thought, it isn't a hard challenge. If you've never used the wings before, maybe it could be a little difficult. But to fly through a few of them at least isn't that bad. But I wanted to make it so no matter what, like if you flew through here and that was the target and you landed here, I didn't want you to not score. I wanted that to be an automatic 10. And if you got through here, 20. And even if you landed like here, I'd let them kind of with their momentum go through. But they couldn't like hop or try to do something, maybe get through this one, say. But I think it worked really well. It was a nice mountain there. We'll take a quick look at the eagle just for the sake of it. But this is something that's going to have something to come into play discussion-wise on the reunion, which is pretty funny, actually. Who all built this?
Poker built this on her own.
So, Beautiful Eagle, Fly Like an Eagle song. I think is it Steve Miller Band sang that, and then I think Seal did a cover of it. Mole sign. There was a mole sign here somewhere. I forget where I put it.
It was near a tree.
It was on a tree over that way. So they did have a sign on this one, and when we get to the reunion, we'll talk about like did players see it. I'm pretty sure some players missed this one.
Found it.
Yeah, so right here is the sign. The eagle has landed on fail. Love the mole. But it was a good challenge. I mean, obviously, we're going to be doing more things with some of the new stuff in future challenges and future seasons, possibly. You just never know. But I thought this was a fun challenge. I think the players enjoyed it. And there'll be a lot to talk about on this one come reunion.
Definitely.
All right, so here is a sneak peek at a challenge in our next episode. What could it be? All right, so now we're going to take a look at the player's room that was eliminated in episode 4, and that was the Flying Angel. He probably looked like that here, this creeper picture, as he fell down. But here's his room. Let's go in. There's Kama in the flying boat. You can see a lot of these decorations and things. These are the player decorations. But here was the sign from the mole. Shame you didn't fly out of the elimination pit. Love the mole. That would be interesting. If a player had the wings and they fall in, could they fly out and save themselves? Or
Better
if,
not give them wings.
Or with his name, it's a double meaning too, because he is the flying angel, but he didn't fly out of the elimination pit. So you can take that comment from the mole multiple ways. All right, so you guys voted after that third episode, and this is the episode where we reveal who you currently think after episode 3 ended. From that point until episode 4 aired, you're voting. You guys still think that Mr. Affleck is the mole. You think that by a majority.
Interesting.
All right, and the final, most exciting moment of all, the part you've all been waiting for. If you want to sing the mole comment of the week, you can do it in your own style. You can accompany it with your own music if you're so inclined. Do not use any copyrighted music if you download something. If you download something that's royalty free, that's fine, but you do need to give me the sources of any of that type of stuff. Most people just do it a cappella, but that's up to you. But you can sing the song, make it a WAV file, send it to me with a link, say on Dropbox, SkyDrive, FileDropper.com. I think is a good website. Many different ways. Or you can put it, like I said, on SoundCloud type setup and just send me a link to it. You can even make it a YouTube video. Make it private if you do that, and I can just convert it to an MP3. But anyway, this Mole Comment of the Week song comes to us from the person we were just talking about, our previously eliminated player, the Flying Angel. Take it away, Flying Angel.
Mo comment, mo comment, mo comment, mo comment, mo comment, mo comment of the week. Mo comment of the week.
The Mole Comment of the Week this week comes from Dan Smith, and he says, "Goodness gracious, great, good, goody, glorious, gooby goodness. What a wonderful episode."
Well, thank you, Dan. Lots of G words in there. I didn't think there were that many G words, but he got quite a few of them. Glad you liked it, and hopefully everybody enjoyed Mr. Flying Angel's singing. If you think he should take lessons, please let him know in the comments. What is he better at, singing or being a player in the mole? You guys decide. So that's going to wrap up episode 4 of Mole Confidential for season 6. We'll be back this coming Friday with a new mole episode, 2 new challenges, a quiz, and an elimination. 1 more player gone. If you haven't figured out who the mole is by now, you best really start studying, because we're coming down to where it gets down to 2 or 3 people left. Then it's not as impressive. But for those people who are locking in their picks now, you guys can have the bragging rights that you called it. But we'll see how it goes. But we'll see you next week with another Mole Confidential. Kama, you want to say your goodbyes? We're going to head out.
Bye.